Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're back from my hiatus, guys. Wow, what's up, my Zudes? What's popping? How we doing?
It's been a month, dude.
Yeah.
How's it really? It's been a whole month.
I feel like it's been 4 weeks, hasn't it?
Shoot.
Some time,
Yeah.
I lose track of time around here.
Times does not matter in the Zude house. It's very relative, Time's an enigma. Just like the subject of today. It's UFOs, bro. What a trippy subject, right? We got some crazy stuff going on with us here.
Yeah, man. I know. We're all back from a little summer vacation, vacation / just working hella hard and doing a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
But we're like, we're out here a couple shades more tan, or at least like our upper torso areas. Just got done peeling, dude. I feel like I look like an alien.
Yeah, you're shedding your skin. You're
molting.
Your Zudes are molting, exactly.
Yeah.
The Zudes are molting, and so we're re-emerging from the caves, bro, in the Zude house, bro. So
I was molten.
So it's your boy Grody here, Adrian Grody. I'm on the podcast. I'm on the ZUDECAST here. We're bringing it in. We got Crispy Grooves.
Yo, it's your boy Crispy Grooves. What's up?
What's poppin' is Robert Ware. Back again. I thought they were going to do a cast without me, but it turns out we all had to be here to make it happen. So
turns out we don't know how to use the computer.
Yeah.
So we need you.
There was work to be done, but
yeah, there was
for real
a lot to catch up on. So
yeah, apologies for not posting in a little while, guys, but
yeah.
We're all a bunch of broke motherfuckers out here, just trying to scrape up enough bread to survive out here. So, but we're back into it, and we got some sick research. Shout out to Eli for basically putting this whole ass board together.
Yeah. Just big shout out to freaking Taba over here on the boards, running it, coming in, bro, working it so we can get the full presentation going on. It's a big subject today. It's a big one today. This is long overdue. I feel like this is 86, right? 86 now episode.
Shoot.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It took us 86 episodes to do a dedicated UFO episode, but let me tell you, the Zudes are here to beam you up. And it's going to get crazy right now because just like our MK Ultra episode, we're going to dive into the real history behind this thing that's kind of just culturally kind of accepted and known about. But, there's some kind of intricate history going on with it, But yeah. So,
yes.
Any thoughts, guys, on what, initial thoughts on the, we're choosing to do a dedicated episode to it because there was just a congressional hearing and they were saying there's non-human material being biologics.
What do they call them? Biologics?
Yeah, biologics, not human biologics being in the recovered craft from the secret UFO program. Big stuff, actually. It's pretty significant. I'd say.
Man,
there's a lot going on. What are you gonna say?
There's a lot going on. I watched the whole thing start to finish while I was drunk on the beach. So I think my perception of it is still a little bit skewed. Haven't had a lot of time to put like a ton of thought into it, but from my first impression, it seems kind of legit as far as anything is concerned. Right. People, it's easy to say like, the government has control over all of these things. So how is the government, declassifying information that the government withheld from the government?
Right.
But it's like people don't understand how compartmentalized and like need to know shit is. There's like classification levels for a reason, right?
Well, that's how governments get away with doing all sorts of shit. Is that it is that compartmentalized. Like that's kind of like the brilliant evil design of most governments, where it's like there's probably like at whatever alien labs or research recovery labs, there's probably a receptionist there that doesn't really know like what's going on.
No,
it's really quite.
Hello, Admiral. Wow, good to see you.
But she like requires top secret clearance anyway. Just to even exist in the room.
They don't know.
Yeah. They don't fucking know.
Yeah, so it's definitely pretty crazy that they're almost kind of admitting it's like there's whole secret compartments and sub-departments in the government that you guys don't even know exist, and it's like we use the money to fund like all this underground stuff that we don't even tell you about. That's one of the things I think that's just kind of crazy about it in general, is just being so open about like, hey, there's all these little avenues of the the spending that we're actually looking into, and there's all these weird incidences. So it's like it's a pretty big thing, and people should be able to know about it, which is
you got a right. You have a right to know.
Super crazy.
If it's your tax dollars at work, especially, I mean, you got a right to know what if they recovered an ET. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, regardless of whether it's a ET or not, the fact that they're like, yeah, there's like weird floating orbs in the sky, and we don't know either, but we're on it. Like that's at least that's historic too. Like honestly, I didn't even that happening in our lifetimes is kind of crazy because. They just full blown acknowledged it. They were like, "Yeah, we need more actually," but you know that opens a whole can of worms. If it's like, "Oh, why now?" You know, but you know we're gonna dive into the history of like the whole kind of UFO lore too, and I kind of weirdly feel like it is like a why now kind of thing, but also kind of like a of course now kind of thing. It's like it had to come out sometime. Like there had to be some kind of like more knowledge progressing on the topic. You know, there just has to be with more technology down and stuff, and it's getting to a point where they're kind of like, yeah, we can't even really deny because everybody's got phone and shit now, and there's weird stuff everywhere. So it's like
maybe they're. It's because it's one of those things where it's like these guys that are high-ranking intelligence officials have probably known about this stuff for years, if not decades. You know, like they're saying that they've recovered, you know, spacecraft and allegedly all these kinds of different things since the 30s, 40s, 50s. And it's like, it's just a matter of when they decide to let the cat out of the bag, basically. Or it's almost like they may be trying to get ahead of the story a little bit. Like maybe there is some alien shit that's about to drop that we don't know about yet. So they're just prefacing it with, it's like, okay, guys, so aliens are real and that's fine. You know, there's nothing really going on. Just letting you know for no particular reason now that, yeah, there's aliens. But what we don't know is like maybe it's like the aliens have been like, you have 90 days to give us the orb from inside the center of the earth. Or else we will destroy our planet and take it. I don't know.
And so we got flat UFO and hollow Earth lore happening already on top of each other.
It's all true,
it's all
baby.
Coming up. Yeah.
Well, what do you think is the most likely option? Because alien is, I don't think a good enough word for it. It could be us from the future. It could be us from inside the Earth. It could be a different race from inside the Earth. It could be like a multitude of things. It could be lizard people that are on the backside of the moon. You know, like a million options there.
Right.
It could be fallen angels. And some people say they're demons. You know.
Yeah, it's like Nephilim or Elohim
and the Nephilim. All that stuff.
Yeah. Well, or some people say maybe it's underwater creatures. Maybe they've been here the whole time underwater, or they're extraterrestrials that are coming here from somewhere else and then hiding in the water.
A little bit of Henical Tentai action, bro.
Yeah, we got Matt in the chat. He's saying, "Ayo, Zudes, we talking non-human biologics?"
That is correct.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
What do you think non-human biologics means? In the chat, let us know.
Let us know, because that's quite the vague term, man. I was saying non-human biologics. It's like, I think he probably was trying to be very careful as to not get unalived, because he probably couldn't be like he was just, all he said was non-human. I don't think
he almost said non-binary.
I don't necessarily think it's extraterrestrials. I think it might be some kind of like either kind of underwater or underground kind of other civilization, or some kind of like interdimensional stuff, or it's like interdimensional technology, or from the future. But, the future is probably so different that it is alien, but it might still just all be on Earth. I don't know.
That would be crazy. I feel like that's already like a plot to something. But I can't think
definitely,
of
definitely.
But it's like, or it should be, where
it's like on South Park, when they come back from the future and they all became like the Unirace.
Oh, yeah. They're all like, it's like the different like atheism sects or whatever. And then there's like the space otters, I think. Is that the same episode?
No, that was a different one, but it's all good.
So we, as humans scientifically have been tapped in like futuristic stuff, being able to tap into stuff from the future.
Maybe maybe it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're just spitballing here, but it could be.
Yeah.
One of the theories.
One of the theories is that the UFO stuff is that like observers from the future trying not to really interact with everything.
I see.
But
taking a little tour.
Yeah. I know.
Back
What
in
if
time.
it's something super trivial to them? Yeah, it's just like time travel tours, bro.
Right.
They're just like, wowee,
See how y'all was
Hiroshima.
doing it back in the day, you know?
Well, yeah, that'd be crazy. It's like instead of going to the movies, they go back to watch real life events.
Go to Mount Vesuvius, bro, in Pompeii.
As long as they can return to their original timeline, because if there is just their existence in that area potentially could cause like catastrophic and cascading effects throughout space.
Right.
So it depends how you think about the multiverse, but I don't tend to really believe in the multiverse the way a lot of people do.
Yeah, time travel stuff is pretty crazy, but again, who you know,
Dude,
with what the kind of stuff they're talking about in general, though, it's like physics are probably about to get freaking spaghettied and whipped around because you know, if it's really as kind of powerful as a lot of the kind of speculation is, it's like, yeah, UFOs are pretty OP.
What if it was futuristic Italians? And they're like, whoa, wow, like the laws of physics.
We created
spaghettied around.
We created the saucers in a disc shape to resemble a pizza flying through the air.
That'd be hilarious if it was Italians.
It's
like a cyborg.
Always has been, bro.
Bro, it's a cyborg Christopher Columbus from the future. He's like reincarnated.
Right.
He's got to conquer the world and then the universe. That would be sick. We should make damn. We're just
Cyborg Columbus,
out here,
bro.
dude. Within the first 5 minutes of this, we're already like just spitting free game right now. You know what? Those ones are on the house.
Cyborg Columbus, bro.
If you're a sci-fi writer, come on, dude. If you got Abe Lincoln Vampire Slayer, you can have Cyborg Columbus. You know what I'm saying?
Spread in the same tier.
That would be crazy if it was time travelers and then they were just going back and getting footage of all the different moments in history to make like an Earth supercut.
Right. Earth supercut. Man, it's just so bizarre because, again, even with the amount of information we got, it's still just so vague. Like, it's just so, like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah. But it opens up a world of imagination and possibilities.
The message I got overall from it was that you should keep your eyes peeled because more or less the aim is to declassify anything that is not a matter of national security, essentially.
Right. Which could go in a lot of ways. I mean, think about how much stuff that's probably... Well, they just released that big study, too, about, like, ESP and, like, altered states of the consciousness and, like, astral projection and shit, bro. The CIA just put out a report on that, too. So,
I remember reading about that.
Pretty crazy for that to be happening like, in the same time period and stuff. And, yeah, I really do think it was just a big deal because, again, like I said, they're really just acknowledging the fact that it's like, yeah, this is going on. We've had, like... you know, a bunch of different departments and stuff looking at it, and it's been a problem for a second, and here's all of our footage. And
Well, and it's just weird, though, because it's like, usually from intelligence officials, I'll be like, you guys are full of shit. What's the psyop here? What's the game plan here? And maybe there is something to that, because it seems like there's two camps with this UFO hearing. There's people that are like, oh, shit, it's finally happening. They're finally... Because it's like a lot of the people that are really into UFOs are kind of like... yeah, I already knew most of this shit. They just are saying, like, confirming what we've already been talking about. And then there's other people that are like, shut up, idiot. It's, like, cool to, like, be a UFO skeptic now. Be like, I'm Christ-pilled or whatever. And, like, you're just, like, don't believe in UFOs. And it's, like, I don't know. It's, like, not everything's a psyop. And I feel like, just statistically, I think the opinion that a lot of people have is just statistically... there's more of a chance of there being somewhere else with life in the universe than us being the only planet in the entire universe.
See, I almost think that's an entirely different question, though, than, like, what are the UFOs? Like, how are they that sick? Like, how are they that fast? How are they that durable? How
it could be the Chinese.
You know, it could be. I mean, I don't
sincerely doubt that it is the Chinese.
Right.
No, I don't think it's something normal. Yeah, I think everybody... If one person could do something like that, everybody would be able to back engineer it with the amount of like espionage that goes on these days. Like
I was saying in a conversation we had previous to the show, unbeknownst to you guys, but you have to literally break the laws of inertia to be able to live or in any sense inside of a craft that's moving that fast or stopping that fast. The amount of G-forces your body would pull would kill you instantly in any of those like maneuvers. So you just can't survive that without somehow breaking the laws of the universe's like inertial relationships, gravity, right?
That's true.
And you have to separate yourself in like a little bubble.
Right. So you're not getting thrown around and spaghettied around constantly every time you hit warp speed or whatever. Because every sci-fi show you ever watch, they're like going into sublight speed or whatever, and then they turn the thruster and they're just chilling there.
Cool. And then they get hit by an actual missile, and then they go.
Right,
fucking get like rocked in their chairs and shit, and I'm like, that is just as unrealistic. You either have inertial dampening technology or you fucking don't maintain self-consistency.
Well, that's the shields, bro.
But it's
the
entertaining.
Shields are down now. Shields at 69% capacity. Anyways, let's see. So let's see. What do we got for the?
Here we could just take a big look at the whole board real quick.
Let's take a big look. Look at this fucking big ass board that Eli conceived of. This is a lot. This is a lot to cover.
Yeah,
we gotta get into it.
So we're gonna cover just mainly we're gonna talk a little bit. There's a couple more things that relate to the congressional hearing and whatnot there, and then we're just gonna kind of give a run through your classic American UFO lore. I am so sorry, I got a scratchy throat right now.
It really is a classic Americana tale. I feel like aliens are kind of our shit, you know what I mean? Like, what other countries are really talking about the aliens like us? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we did have Roswell.
Right? That's our shit,
right?
Yeah, I was gonna try to look for other like international stuff too, because there is a ton of stuff from a ton of different countries at different points, but it's just such a fat subject that just wanted to stick to kind of the classic through line here. Right. So we got some history stuff and kind of bringing it up to the modern day with some other cultural things, but yeah, let's see. Matt says, what do you think the aliens would look like if not like a classic gray? I got money on like squiggly people, like real like lightweight, low density, like kind of floaty people, or energy beings. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they would be kind of humanoid. I mean, we just imagine, we're like, well, obviously a humanoid creature is the most sophisticated and the most advanced, but we really kind of suck. Like, compared to animals, like, we would pretty much lose to, like, 97% of animals in a fight ever. So I can only imagine you got to be built different, or either that, or you have to just have technology on your side and have to have, if you're just, like, some sort of humanoid gray type of thing, but you still got to be able to fight motherfuckers. You got to have some sort of weaponry.
They got the telepathic abilities, though. They make up for it,
I like to think that a driving principle of life is just the sheer need to avoid discomfort. So I feel like any advanced enough civilization would also suffer from a lot of the same plights of laziness that we suffer in like our technologically advanced age right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like they'd probably be like soft and squishy, just like us, to be honest.
Yeah. I think
that like, there's no way that aliens don't exist, and I think that a lot of aliens are like similar to humans, to where like this universe is ever expanding, ever growing. Like, space is continuing to expand as we speak. So the idea that there's not like intelligent life on other planets like similar to ours makes no sense to me. And like, I've noticed that like a lot of things in nature like resemble each other. So like our lungs like resemble like if you cut like an orange in half and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that like there are aliens that look very similar to us, like probably humanoid, like on different planets and stuff like that.
Because if they're from our universe, they kind of still have to apply to the same rules, whatever. It's like the golden ratio and like all these different.
Yeah.
So the Fibonacci sequence or something, whatever the guy from Tool said.
Yeah.
And then like you said, it's weird how big things, or on a planet-sized scale, look sort of similar to microscopic things, like like your veins look sort of similar to river systems or waterways.
Neural patterns look like the cosmic background radiation. That's the whole thing.
Exactly. So I mean, and even just on Earth, you got birds, but then you also got bats, and they're like kind of the same thing. Yeah. But like they have the same abilities, but are like just built totally different, like built from the ground up.
I feel like it's like Spore, where we've seen all the different parts. So like any new shit you see, you're just like, all right, that's weird, but I mean, it's not shocking necessarily.
Right. But like there's no guarantee that any extraterrestrial creatures would have DNA like we do, or they might have some variant of it, but it might be a whole different system at all, dude. Like
I mean, with like silicon-based life forms potentially. Who knows how that works?
Yeah, because they're saying like a lot of stuff is really hot, so like silicon would like have to be the like bonding covalent that like builds the fucking proteins and stuff. Because how hot other planets are and stuff, and like even best case scenario.
I know. Speaking of hot, I know we're talking about like how we would survive space travel, and I'm like, I'm gonna go turn on the AC. Actually, I'm kind of getting a little toasty. And it's like, it's like, oh yeah, let's get past the fucking Van Allen radiation belt or whatever without getting a little toasty. I'm gonna go turn it on.
Maybe there's an advanced race out there that just straight up resembles crabs. I mean, carcinization is like is the thing that exists. So
well, it's like everything in the deep water turns to crab mode eventually, bro.
Right.
Just because it's like, especially if you're on like a big planet, you know, or whatever, it's like the more space the bigger you get, because you have to cover more space. So everything turns into a crab. I did like Nope. In Nope, how the alien, spoiler for Nope, sort of is like a jellyfish sort of thing that like floats around in the atmosphere. That's like one of the most speculated on ideas of like what an alien creature like would look like on like a gas giant, or like a very like, you know, something with a real dense atmosphere, you know, it almost swim through the air. But you know, I don't know if that's like, so astrobiology and like UFOs, I feel like UFOs have to be just kind of by nature in like such a different crazy tier than like, could there be like a little slug creature on another planet? It's like, of course there can be, you know? But I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just like kind of a weird, they're like kind of different like focuses of science too, because UFOs are a lot of like physics and like quantum mechanics and stuff like that, whereas like you know, astrobiology is a lot about like, you know, like like chemistry and like, you know, biology and like cells and like how do cells behave in certain conditions and shit. And
bro, if you got a degree in astrobiology, you're really just getting one over on these motherfuckers. You're like, I got a degree on shit we don't even know if it's real yet. We're like, I'm like 100 years early at least on this degree.
Yeah,
they're ahead of the market.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So let's get into this history, dude.
Yeah, kick it off. We're gonna throw. This is just one of my more interesting. One of the older cases. Do we have the other screen too, where it's like the full screen? And do we have that on there?
Yeah, it should be the game screen.
Game screen.
Let's do it.
There we go.
Gamer
all right,
time.
sick. Yeah, gamer mode. All right. So, of course, there's been tons of UFO sightings throughout history, and in classic art, they had a whole show about it called Ancient Aliens. And I wanted to include that kind of stuff, but I felt like it's a different kind of, that's like ancient astronaut theory, which is, I feel like, a little bit of a different video.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that another time, like aliens in ancient history. But I included this one. This one was pretty interesting to me, the celestial phenomena over Nuremberg in 1561. And it's like a little news sheet that depicted it's like the news. They're like, hey everybody, last week we saw all this crazy shit in the sky. Does everybody remember? And they were like, yeah, that was nuts. Like everybody saw it type shit. And that's like an art depiction of what they allegedly saw like going on. And they're like, yeah, all these orbs were going crazy, and there was like a big thing coming out of the sky, and
looks like a destroyer ship.
Yeah, it's wild. You know what I mean? It's a pretty
that's crazy. I've never actually seen this photo before.
Yeah, no, so it's super interesting to me. Because again, it's like it was a mass sighting, and there's been a lot of kind of trying to explanations for it. They're like, no, it was like religious hysteria, and it was a mass hallucination from everybody like catching the Holy Ghost. But it's like, I don't know, man. That's pretty vivid, and that's pretty like descriptive, you know. And like for everybody to be like, I saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, is a pretty big deal, you know. So this was definitely one of the more interesting ones, and I just wanted to say too, because there's kind of a good amount of ones sort of like this in like this recent 1500s, 1700s. Like that's a more documented time in history than we kind of usually think. But a lot of people were writing shit down then, and you know, of course, there's like some Columbus stuff, and a lot of like explorers on the ocean saw crazy lights go, and you know, wrote it in their journal. They're like, what the fuck was that? But yeah, I just wanted to include this one.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never actually seen this picture, but it's, you know, most of the UFO sightings and things like that most people talk about are, more recent, like within the last 100 years. Mm-hmm. And then wasn't there something else from like the 1200s or from earlier than that where it was like an aerial phenomena kind of thing where I forget what it was actually called, but it was like multiple different, you know, civilizations around the world had they all saw the same. It was like a star, like supernova or some like super bright ass event or whatever, and they all kind of reported on it differently.
Interesting.
All from different. I forget what it was actually called, but there's like a bunch of different artwork from like 1,000+ years ago that's kind of different aerial phenomena. So it's like maybe this was something like that.
Let's see. I think it goes into the description too a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We're starting with Nuremberg here, but different. It was a different time.
We got a Cole Biz in the chat. Shout out.
Hey yo.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Also, there's a hieroglyph of a helicopter in the pyramids of Giza.
Yeah. I've seen stuff like that. Where it looks dead ass like a helicopter. You're like, I don't know what else that would be. What else would they like? It's not just like a random pattern of something you would draw. It's like, that's a fucking helicopter.
Nothing else looks like a helicopter.
That's super weird.
Helicopter.
But according to the broadsheet, which was news for broads, around dawn on April 14th, 1561, many men and women of Nuremberg saw what the broadsheet describes as an aerial battle out of the sun, followed by the appearance of a large black triangular object and exhausted combatant spheres falling to earth in clouds of smoke.
Sick.
The broadsheet claims that witnesses observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd shapes that moved erratically overhead. That's crazy, dude. It's like a literal fucking Star Wars battle. Like, isn't that crazy? Well, you never think about it from, like, in Star Wars, where it's just some insane Star Destroyer battle happening, and then you're just, like, looking up at it, you're like, what the fuck? It's like super tiny from where you're at.
Why
and then it just starts crashing down towards you, like, fuck! Just chilling on Coruscant, you know? At the weird alien bar.
Stole my lord.
Broadsheet claims that. But fucking, it said the broadsheet claims that witnesses observed spheres, cylinders. Oh yeah, we already said that. Small spheres, large crescents, black spears, cylindrical objects.
I know, various shapes, including crosses. Okay.
That's where I feel like some people are probably like, oh no, you get a little religious on me.
Fake. This has been debunked.
It's not aerodynamic.
Yeah. It's really not. That'd be crazy. It's like Jesus himself is like, he's like fighting the aliens.
If you think about it, just like a regular like World War II fighter plane might appear like a cross in the sky if you didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah,
it's almost shaped exactly like that, except for like the tail wings. But like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoa! What if what they saw in the 1500s was actually like secret Nazi UFO scientists that figured out time travel and didn't tell anyone, and then they went back to the 1500s in Nuremberg and they're like, we have to change the whole course of history.
Hey, but that's gotta be a movie.
They accidentally fucked it up, and then
made it
that's
worse.
what made it. Then that brought Hitler. They got their stuff. They got into a time loop.
There's a tie-in to that. We'll get there. Trust me, but we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Don't worry. There's gonna be plenty of more baseless speculation throughout this episode.
We should write this movie.
Yeah, I know, dude. Dude, how many fucking sci-fi hits do we just come up with?
Dude, don't.
Unknown.
I know, and we're just getting nosed up too. Like we're not coked out or anything, just nosed up. Red Bull on Bobby's case.
Pretty much, though.
This is liquid Vyvanse.
Yeah, man. For the aliens versus knights, bro. Alien souls, bro. Aliens versus Germans, bro.
It's aliens versus the Catholic Church, so it's Alien versus Predator.
Classic. That's a classic. Okay.
So moving on, taking about a 500-year jump here to Mussolini times.
You know, we just talked about this. Remember the 1930s Italian aliens, bro? In the Vatican, bro. So this came from that congressional hearing because they just revealed that as part of that the program's been around since the 30s because the Vatican knew about it, and then someone, you know, the word got through the grapevine that they had a first UFO thing in Italy, apparently, is what they said happened at the recent thing, though.
Dude,
but that's a new one.
You shouldn't say through the grapevine, bro. It's insensitive to Italians and other wine growing communities. So, yeah, the first recovery in Europe in Magenta, Italy was allegedly. What do you think they found there on that day?
So it says let me see what it says. It says they recovered a partially intact vehicle, and the Italian government moved it to a secure airbase in Italy. until around 44/45. The Pope back-channeled that and told the Americans what the Italians had, and they ended up swooping it. So America ended up allegedly acquiring it.
Wow.
The first crash was, oh yeah, that just says the same shit.
It is just a flying pizza pie.
Yeah, pretty much, you know, like Mamma Mia. But yeah, that's interesting. You know, I mean, that's kind of lines up with, you know, a lot of the, I mean, it's earlier than a lot of the rest of the stuff you're going to see that's come to been like kind of classic UFO lore. But, I mean, it's not surprising, you know.
They found the spiciest meatball of all. A landed aircraft.
And they opened it up and it was all linguine inside. It was like sizzling. It was like steaming. And they're like, oh, fuck. And then they got a spoon and like ate a little bit. And they're like, oh, shit. Like, we got to get the Pope on this. It's a big deal.
That'd be crazy. Deal. They're like, somewhere else on an alien planet where the rivers run with ragu. That's crazy. Yeah. And then, so...
But this is kind of considered the classic start of the UFO lore here is the Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters
of 1940s. Not the Dave Grohl band.
Yeah.
Not you know, not looking for the Unga Bunga.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, term Foo Fighters used by Allied aircraft during World War II to describe various unidentified flying objects or mysterious aerial phenomena.
Mysterious phenomena
seen in the skies over Europe and the Pacific theater of operations.
Damn.
So though Foo Fighters initially described the type of UFO reported by the US 415, so that was like the initial time that it got reported.
Right.
It just be like that was the name of like the first ones, but then it just became like the colloquial term for seeing UFOs in your plane.
Right.
Isn't it kind of crazy how like being a plane fighter was like a more common thing back in the day? That's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah, well, it's insane how many. I mean, you watch some of that old World War II footage, and it's nuts. Just the amount of just single pilot planes. They're like, all right, like, you know, I mean, in Japan they went full kamikaze with that shit sometimes, but just, I mean, being in one of those things in general is like a full kamikaze. Just like getting like just landing one of those things, or you just parachute out in the ocean. It's so insane.
Yeah.
That we're out, dude. Like, because that's really what makes you think too about extraterrestrials and spacecraft and space flight. Like, we were out here doing it with the most bare bones ass technology. Like, we barely just made trains and cars, and then we're like, let's go straight to fucking planes. Let's do it.
It's like not that long after planes were made, they started using them in, you know, World War I. They'd fly around and like take pictures, and then World War II, we're doing. What was that?
No, that is crazy to think about and consider, honestly. Like, I never really think about, like, how, like...
We don't need anti-gravity shit. We just need to throw millions of human lives at the problem. They're like, all right, get out there. Go figure it out. Like, go try it. I don't know.
Yeah. But, that technology definitely developed super fast, just like aviation and, you know, using it for combat and stuff. So, I mean, again, we're pretty young civilization just in general. We're talking about how humans, as we think of them, it's probably only, like, you know, like... What did we say? 20,000 years as like Homo sapiens have been around or whatever, something like that.
300,000 years.
300,000 years. But then like too, it's like Hammurabi's code. That's only like 10,000 years. So it's like there's like a whole like 180,000 years we don't fucking know about. Shit's crazy. But yeah. So
well, I was wondering, why do they call them the Foo Fighters? We were talking about this before the show, and I was like, is it because they're Japanese or what? Like that's what we thought they like. That's what in the U.S. the Army, you know. These like Air Force motherfuckers were like, oh, it's the Foo Fighters. It's like, what is that like a?
No, they're. But yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
Right? Is that's the implication, right? That they think it's either they're like, one, it's an alien, or two, it's like.
Well, I don't
because it was, you know.
Well, I guess at this point they weren't even like considering aliens is the kind of the thing that's gonna kind of be the through line here in the beginning is like they weren't considering like aliens. They were just like we're at war. It's the enemy. There's something out there. They probably got a secret weapon, and so they took the shit like 100% seriously back then. It wasn't like yo, you're fucking tripping out. Yeah. Apparently a panel explored possible explanations, and so they said there's like electrostatic phenomena that can happen, or like another one too is they say like like light refracting off of your crystals can look like there's like a light chasing you around. I guess, you know, I could see that sort of, you know, like being when you're up in the clouds too, there's so much like reflection and diffraction from all like the moisture in the air, you know. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that could be something, you know, some reason for it, but
We can go back out to the full screen too.
Yeah,
while we're not reading.
When we're just when we're not reading, let's
save ourselves some editing.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, I feel like with that kind of thing, that's just a gaslighting excuse. That's a gaslighting reason. Ice crystals, bro. We know how light reflection works. It's pretty obvious. So when things move in an erratic fashion that is, against what we would normally consider normal,
right?
Then I mean,
well, you guys
if you'd know if you'd seen it, I guess, but.
Yeah,
I'm not getting tricked by no damn ice crystals, that's for sure.
Well, especially if it's like, if you're flying the plane and it's an ice crystal on your plane, it's like, okay, if I move, it's going to move. Yeah. Like, if it's just doing some crazy shit regardless of you, that's pretty,
exactly.
I'd be pretty freaked out for sure, Yeah.
Usually like the lights you see when you're flying will have a direct, impact on where the yoke is, and the movements you make.
Right. Well, and then there is, you guys know about St. Elmo's fire?
Right, that's what they said it could be too. What's the deal with St. Elmo's fire?
Yeah, well, it's sort of like it's just ionized air. Like it sort of looks like lightning, but it used to be called witch's fire. It was like a pirate thing or like a weird for sailors and stuff, because they would have like metal tips on the ends of the masts and the sails and all this stuff, and there would be a lot of metal points. And so sometimes if it was like a weird weather event, like it was really stormy or whatever, started getting like lightning and stuff, like it would act like a lightning rod basically, or they would put them on the ships on purpose to kind of get the so that if lightning struck, it would just strike this metal pole and not like burn your ship down.
Right. And
so St. Elmo's fire, yeah, I looked into it a little bit. It's named after it's like the patron saint of sailors or whatever. It's like, it's not, the original name's not Elmo, it's like some Greek sounding shit, but yeah, it's crazy. People have done like demonstrations of it where it looks almost like a Tesla coil, or like one of those where you put your fingers on it and it goes like it kind of looks like that, but you see sort of this ethereal light type of stuff.
Pull it up.
Oh yeah, I can pull it up. I found like a video of it actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things they were explaining here. Yeah, we'll wait till we get there. Okay. Yeah, so that's what they're kind of saying.
There's also a show from the 80s called St. Elmo's Fire. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no. But yeah, man, I mean, World War II, though, is, once again, that's where all the kind of beginning of the UFO lore kind of picked up,
Yeah, check this shit out.
Yeah, pull that shit up.
I don't know if there's any audio on it, but it's basically like he turns out the light, and then this metal tip right here. He like puts like another, that one's positively charged, and when it gets kind of close, it creates like this little star-looking guy.
Video. And as I bring this in a little bit closer, you can see a little purple. Kind of looks like a purple flame coming off of the needle tip. That is St. Elmo's fire. So that is ionized air.
It's like pre-lightning. It's like lightning pre-cum.
Nice.
From the needle tip or around the needle tip and
lightning.
But you could see some wild shit, especially in the sky. There's like a lot of weird weather events. Like, you ever been in a plane during an electrical storm? It's pretty crazy.
That sounds wild.
It's nuts. I was one time, like when I was a kid, we're just like above the cloud, above all the clouds, and it's weird. Like, you see lightning under you.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that before.
That's a trip. And there was another video I saw that was kind of similar to that. Hold up. It was like, this next one here.
Here, pull it up.
Whatever. But that's not a very good video, but.
All right.
It's like weird. Yeah, it's just like weird plasma stuff. But anyways,
some stuff like that. Yeah, there's been some pictures of.
Yeah, like pre-lightning, dude. It's kind of crazy to look at.
Is it like forming around like the tip of something, or it like comes around? What the fuck? That's really weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't burn your hands.
Or no, it's just ionized. Like, it's not actually on fire or whatever. But anyways, but that's like an ancient thing that they've known about for hella long. And that can cause weird visual stuff. So people like to play it off, be like, "Ooh, it was just a St. Elmo's fire or whatever."
I don't know if a fighter pilot would mistake that for like a fucking weird glowing orb.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They made some mistakes too. This is a pretty big mistake right here. Here, pull up the board for us real quick.
Yeah. I know we got another alternative rock news source here because we got the Foo Fighters and then we got the Battle of Los Angeles, which was also a fucking Rage Against the Machine album.
Right, yeah. So yeah, Battle of Los Angeles. This was a really big deal because Pearl Harbor just happened, so they're all on red alert.
Yeah.
And they got some strange signals and some strange lights flying around over LA. And
this picture's
crazy. They went red alert, man. There was something about like I think I got some numbers over here. But yeah, 10 hours it took so officials received a warning that mainland Los Angeles could be under siege by Japanese forces, and so they fired. Yeah, they were basically shooting the guns up in the sky though, but they thought it was a invasion, so they were going at it. Let me see. Army officials tried to say the commercial aircraft sent by Japan passed over the LA skyline, but the Office of Air Force History debunked that theory in 1983. They said that there was a weather balloon out there, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, they never found out, from what I understand.
Yeah. There was no planes involved in the actual incidents, from what it says there. But people died during this event, actually. Like, some real citizens, like, got bullets rained on them because they were, like, shooting in the sky. Like
50 cal rounds out of the sky.
And some people...
At something and no one knows what it is, and they're like, it was a weather balloon. That'd be crazy if you're just in your house and then just 50 cal artillery rounds just fucking launch through your house.
Bomb sirens going off. The sky's so full of smoke from all the artillery fire that you can't really see crazy, what's going on either. So
that's crazy.
You're just watching. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to finally watch the first episode of Tom and Jerry. Sit down, and then you just get rocked, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, but this is considered again one of the earlier incidences that were kind of kept on the hush for a long time, but that's a huge deal. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty historic thing. I mean, they rallied all the military into a frenzy, so yeah, man, who knows? But again, the wartime era,
that's crazy. It's like they must have been shooting at something,
right? That's what I'm saying. You had to see something going on, but
it was an orb. It was coming right at me.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting how the what the explanations for UFO is kind of changes culturally throughout time, so here we go, allegedly too. Yeah, so there was kind of different UFO stuff on all the different like a lot of different fronts there. They said that Mussolini had some. Third Reich apparently was working on some so go down here.
That's crazy. Imagine if you saw a fucking flying saucer, but then it's like German shit on it. You're like, nah, dude, what?
Man, I thought that was a cool hat.
That's actually Oppenheimer's hat. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is all through this. It was a secret society called the Vril Society, and they actually are part of, like, Hitler was a part of the Vril Society, and they believed in like the people that come from under the earth that were like
from under.
Yeah, they were like when you kind of think of like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like super race or whatever, and the Vril was like their energy force. They were able to like manipulate that, like gave them superpowers and shit, and
I wonder if that ties into the Nuremberg in 1561 thing at all. They're like, we've seen it before, 400 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, no. So it's pretty crazy. It's on some pretty esoteric kind of shit. A lot of that was going on underneath the scenes in 1940s.
So because I guess there's researchers that found drawings of flying saucers in these German archives, and they had electromagnetic gravity engines. And it says in 1935, the Tool Society was looking for a location to test new powerful armament. It's called the Honneberg Testing Ground. And the project was referred to as the Honneberg device. I don't know how we pronounce that. Honnebu is this shortened name they gave to it. And I guess it was they're trying to build like their own flying saucers.
Basically, yeah, like because they feel like they've there's like a whole thing where they believe they'd gotten like, they kind of believe in like telepathy and shit like that, and so they got like alien blueprints from like telepathic messages and shit, and so they tried to like build them.
That's crazy
shit, dude. And again, Hitler was apparently involved with these guys, and he was like a member of them and stuff, and which is insane, you know. It's kind of like I don't even know, you know. It's like, that's pretty nuts.
Right?
And then they allegedly made Die Glock, which is the bell. So yeah, that's another alleged one.
A purported top secret scientific technological device, secret weapon, or a Wunderwaffe, developed in the 1940s in Nazi Germany. First described by Polish journalist and author Igor Witkowski in whatever the hell that's called. It was later popularized by military journalist, author Nick Cook, who associated with Nazi occultism and anti-gravity and free energy suppression research. I don't even know what that means. They're like, no free energy.
Well, that means free, like, so like, yeah, like kind of, it's kind of, I feel like he's kind of trying to say like kind of trying to like, I don't know how to.
Yeah. Well, like it says, it's been sort of.
Yeah, it's considered a hoax, but all this stuff's considered as hoax too, because allegedly these guys were actually interested in that kind of thing, though.
I'm sure. Like I'm sure that they were interested in all this kind of weird technology, but actually pulling it off was another thing. But yeah, it has been turned into such a thing with like the Wolfenstein games or whatever, where it's like, actually the Nazis had this, and it's like Mecha Hitler or whatever, and he's like he's got like a turret. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, at least the opposition had some defense. They had their ancient secret Jew magic as well.
Right. That's true. They had, that's true. In the second Wolfenstein, he's got like the golden. I don't even know what to call it, dude.
It's like a weird gyroscopic looking thing.
It's some type of shit that would be named Dreidel, like Operation Dreidel.
Oh my god!
But it's like an acronym. It's like destructive robot, whatever.
Fucking great game though.
That would be sick, actually. And then the Vril Society.
Yeah, that's the same.
Talking about.
Yeah, so yeah, the Vril, The Power of the Coming Race, was a book from the 1800s that these fools were all into. And does that sound familiar? Like a certain somebody who talked about a certain thing and was a pretty influential guy.
We're the coming race.
These days, yeah,
that's true.
These days, yeah, that's for sure.
Human race.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
We do be coming.
But yeah, the Vril, the race that lived underground and had telepathic powers. Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. I don't know. That's kind of on some Scientology kind of shit, I feel like, too, almost. You know, it's like a sci-fi author gets like a real powerful like cult following that infiltrates all the different like government and like avenues of industries and shit to become influential and have their shit acted out.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a cool like fictional book idea, you know, like for sure.
Whoa, bro. Whoa.
Well, you know, it's, you know, well, that's crazy.
Though,
but it's like the superior ancient race that lived underground, and they would run out of resources underground and then come up for some destruction, dude.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they knew that would happen. They set themselves up for failure in that one, I think. Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Gears of War in some ways too. It's
yeah,
like
kind of right.
Yeah, but that shit's crazy. But yeah, so they allegedly
that shit's gotta be fake, bro.
Of course it's fake. Pull the picture up, bro. Do you think this? Do you think anybody's trying to pass that off as real, bro?
Oh, they're like, we just put like the old photograph filter over it, and they're like, perfect,
dude. It's an artist.
It's a concept art.
It's an artist rendition of the alleged event. Yeah. So that actually follows right into another
this motherfucker right here.
Yeah. So pull out so I can read off the table too. But yeah, Admiral Byrd. You could go a little smaller so you can see the picture and the text at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could still read it.
Sorry.
All right. But anyways, yeah. So Admiral Byrd is a guy who's famous. He did like the Antarctic exploration, like campaigns, and like when the U.S. first initially kind of tried to do their voyages and chart it out and map it out and stuff. Yeah. And again, the Nazis allegedly had bases set up there already that are big, giant, super mega complex structures, and Operation High Jump was they sent him and the army actually out there to go explore and chart things. And basically there were apparently like combat scenarios that broke out while they were down there with things they couldn't entirely explain, allegedly. So that's kind of the significance of this event right here. It's a real classic story.
They're getting attacked by frozen cum monsters in the ice.
I
Just
suppose
emerging
so.
from the terrifyingly all white background, just white on white, sneaking up and killing you in the middle of the night.
Well, this is like, I mean, it's kind of like a training ground almost for going to alien planets. You're like, if I'm gonna go to Hoth, you know, I gotta prepare by doing this Antarctica run first. It's like the practice,
right?
It's like the, you know, for extreme conditions or whatever. Like that would be insane trying to set up a military base or like a landing strip on ice. Like how the hell do you even do that?
Well, that's
Is
like,
Antarctica even real? That's a topic for another episode, dude.
That's a good question.
I don't know. There's probably some crazy shit out there because I mean it's a huge continent. And
Penguins
it's
are fake. I've never seen one.
penguins are step into a certain Reich. If you catch my drift.
Oh no. They
They're
may
the
be
ones who-
penguins, but they're goose stepping.
Okay,
That's crazy, dude.
that's crazy.
A bird pun, really.
The March of the Penguins, bro.
Man.
It's crazy.
They're up to something.
Yeah, so Operation High Jump though, that's allegedly a whole thing that happened. Yeah, there was a battle there.
Mm.
What's that?
Nice, dude.
Doesn't seem like too hard of an operation to accomplish.
What, to do a high jump?
Yeah, you just find the guy that can jump the highest.
You know,
Press control and then space. And then you're good. Do
Oh yeah.
the Half-Life 2
Oh yeah.
the high jump.
There we go. Yeah.
Never mind.
What about rocket jumping though?
Right. Oh, yeah,
you do a
no,
little
that's
shooting.
that would be sick if
Yeah.
we came up with that technology to do the rocket jumps from Team Fortress 2.
Just got to get fireproof shoes.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah, I
should
think
know.
that's how it works. Well, physics for you. Yeah.
So then we're jumping way up to 1987 here.
Well, no. So this is
Oh, you got
something.
more?
No. So this is So it's 1987 when this came out, but this is about stuff allegedly from like the 40s and the post-war kind of handling of it. And so it's like there was the Majestic 12, where the people that kind of orchestrated to get the cover up of this kind of technology and of all these projects, hidden away from the public, and they were the ones who were allegedly in control of kind of the information kind of distribution and stuff.
Look
And
at these old pixelated honkies over here, dude.
Yeah.
My jizz dick 12 times.
yeah, just like that, just like that.
Sorry.
No, it's sick.
So yeah, no, it was reported by a British ufologist named Timothy Good, who he claimed to be in possession of the 1950s era UFO documents. So the 12 were apparently Harry Truman. Let's see, where's that? Fuck me.
Oh, they have an official list here.
I thought so, but I'm guessing not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking retarded. All right.
Harry Truman.
Well, yeah. So, anyways, it ties everything in. It's got Roswell and
So these 12 motherfuckers helped cover up all of the Roswell
yeah,
incident.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so let's see. Supposedly formed in 1947 by an executive order by Harry S. Truman, who Harry Truman is like the bad guy in Oppenheimer, basically. Right? I haven't even seen it yet, but that's the idea where it's just like he's like, press the button, you pussy.
Yeah, they did not get along at all, for sure.
And so they explain how the crash of an alien spacecraft at Roswell in July 1947 had been concealed, how the recovered alien technology could be exploited, and how the U.S. should engage with extraterrestrial life in the future. According to the researchers, ufologist Jaime Shandera had in 1984 received an envelope containing film, which when developed showed images of 8 pages of documents that appear to be briefing papers on describing Operation Majestic 12. And so
I have a list of the Majestic 12 if you'd like.
Oh yeah, give us the list. Who else we got on there?
Okay, hopefully this is the right list because I don't see Truman on here.
Oh, he just approved it. I don't think he would sit on the board.
He wasn't one of the 12.
Okay, he was not. Okay, cool. Okay, so there's Lloyd Berkner. Don't know who that is.
Okay.
Detlef Bronk. Vavinar.
He said LeBronc.
Vannevar Bush. James Forstall. Gordon Forrestal. Gordon Gray. Roscoe H. Hillencoat. Actor.
These wacky names, dude.
All these people are Caucasian. Jerome Clark Hunsaker. Donald H. Menzel. No, Robert M. Montauk. It was gonna be a stupid sports joke. Sidney Sowers, Nathan F. Twinning, and Hoyt Vandenberg. So those are the alleged members.
That's how you know this.
None of these.
Know this shit's fake, bro.
None of these motherfuckers sound majestic at all, dude.
They should have put Upu Lupu on the door, bro.
Gluptupus Weppel. Yeah, shout out.
Would have made better members, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
I've appointed the newest member of my board, Mr. Dubstep. Aaron.
But yeah, so I just wanted to include this because again, this is one. Again, like all of them, it's largely considered a hoax, but it's another one that's had a lot of influence, though. I mean, what's the show? Umbrella Academy did a whole season of their show
just
wrapped around the whole lore of this. So, which again, hey, another alternative band, bro. MCR, Gerard Wade, fucking did Umbrella Academy, and he's all into UFOs too. And there's Foo Fighters and Battle of Los Angeles
and Tom
DeLonge. We're gonna get to Tom DeLonge shortly.
Tom
DeLonge.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Why
That's true. There has to be a. That's true. There has to be like a super group of all of the UFO interested parties of the rock and roll scene.
They just get lunch together on Thursdays and talk about UFO.
That'd be pretty sick. That'd be pretty sick, actually.
Just like fucking Greer, Tom DeLonge, fucking Grush.
David Grush comes on.
Get the CIA guys in the band.
Yeah, David Grush fucking is the singer, bro.
Okay,
Somehow
so now we're
Neil
going.
deGrasse
Now we're going
Tyson's
back.
always there, but nobody wants him there.
No, but so the thing about that one is that came out then, but that's about stuff from the 40s and stuff. So that's why I put it right there.
No, I got you.
But yeah, I guess that does kind of fit further up in the timeline.
That's all good.
But yeah, Roswell here, classic. Everybody knows about Roswell, the alleged the first recovered craft story that everybody knows about. 1947 July, they recovered metallic and rubber debris from a military balloon. Yeah, interesting. But it got published in the paper as a flying saucer. Like, that's kind of crazy, actually, that like in the newspaper it did say that. Like, so.
Yeah, it's also not crazy because we're like, journalism today is so bad. There's so much clickbait or whatever. It's like, bro, these fools back in the 40s just did not give a fuck. They're like, fuck it, publish it, dude. Who cares? Let's go.
They're like, sorry, no, it wasn't. Like later on, but then everybody's like, why did you say it then? But apparently, yeah, it did take place during those, like, a lot of reportings about that kind of stuff. But, oh, yeah, so hold on. We'll get to another one in a second. But,
here, click off the card real quick.
Yeah.
And then, not you, Chris.
bad.
You're good.
Huh?
Just click away from the card. And then, oh my God, all those links are, like, built in.
I know. Yeah, I know. This is copy pasted from Wikipedia. That's okay. But what's the deal with Roswell? I mean,
yeah. So again, it was one of the can you zoom out a little bit too? I'm sorry.
Zoom out.
Yes, that's what I said. So Roswell was one of the first incidences, and that kind of ties into this one up here with Kenneth Arnold too, because his was the real first like one, but this one happened the same year as it. So the Kenneth Arnold one is like right here.
Oh, I got you. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's the first like well-known one that like occurred where somebody said flying saucer in the paper itself, and he was flying around in his biplane and stuff, and they said that he was seeing something. He said it moved like a he said like a saucer skipping on water is how he said it moved around, but he didn't say it looked like a saucer. He said it moved like it was skipping on water, like if you threw a saucer. So they published it saying he saw flying saucers, and that's what led to a lot of the stuff like Roswell, it getting published there, that they found a flying saucer because it kind of blew up. It became this whole thing. It went viral, actually.
Right,
Kinda like old school going viral,
That's crazy. A bisexual airplane.
Wait,
yeah. Yeah, a biplane. Yeah.
That's pretty progressive for the time.
I know. I was shocked. It's a little ahead of their time, but
it's got two engines.
We could be proud.
It's got two engines, one for business, one for pleasure.
But yeah, so that was like the first real incident where the term flying saucer got brought up, and so Roswell was very shortly after that. That's why they got even kind of mixed around right there. But right here is a description of what he said it actually looked like. He got an artist to draw it up here, that picture right there. Oh. Yeah, so that's like the picture of what he said it actually looked like, because he got someone to draw it for him.
That's a boomerang.
I know, it looks like a stingray, dude.
Like a batarang, bro. I mean, honestly, bro, that looks like a spy plane, though. You know what I mean?
Like a bomber.
Those are the motherfuckers that took Steve Irwin, and I'm not down.
Space stingrays, dude. Fuck.
You know, it was a coordinated effort. They're like, how can we topple this entire timeline in one fell swoop? And they took Steve Irwin, and look at what we've got.
Damn.
Look at what we've got.
Is that where the timeline split? I thought it was Harambe.
Hey, that was another critical moment, but they keep putting them down is the thing. They could have changed humanity. But
dude, you ever see the picture where it's George W. Bush meeting Harambe's mom?
Yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep. Yeah.
We got to get into that where it's like George W. Bush hanging out with Harambe's mom. I'm not even kidding.
That's insane.
In like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He's like at the, whatever it was like the Chicago Zoo, I think, or one of those. Or like, Cincinnati, maybe it was.
He was like, your son is going to change history.
Fucking marked.
That's crazy. And yeah, we'll have to do a separate episode about. We should just do an episode about Harambe, dude. Just a shout out to Harambe.
It's a cruel fate. So, do you think the woman was paid to then, like she changed the course of history by not paying attention?
The woman,
I think it's just
the mother of the child.
Oh yeah,
it was a canon event. It had to happen.
Yeah,
right.
Unavoidable. So,
damn.
Right.
We had to go.
She was a CIA asset, maybe.
Harambe's mom was a CIA asset.
No, the mom
of the kid who fell in.
Yeah. Oh, the mom of the kid who fell in.
I think it's just like they radicalized her to be a bad parent,
That doesn't take that much work.
It doesn't. It's easier than like trying to get somebody to go,
It was only a matter of time, yeah.
Shoot.
That'd be crazy. There's time travelers going back in time to try and save Harambe, but just no matter what they do, the time loop goes on anyways. It's a canon event.
The time loop must go on.
It's pretty tough, man.
The self-collapsing.
The fabric of the universe to crumble because we saved a gorilla, right?
Man. He's a hero. He's an icon.
Hey, shout out to all the chimps that they sent into space too. The Russians.
Oh, dude, and the dogs, the dogs too. They sent a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
And they live on in our hearts and our dreams.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
It's kind of terrifying, actually. I wish they would stop.
It's pretty fucked up, Yeah. But anyways, so this became such a cultural phenomenon, though. It became a big deal. You got newspapers reporting on it. Okay, so actually, real quick, scooch over real quick. So they said it was a weathered balloon, and boom, to the left here.
Oh, this one?
Project Mogul actually was happening at this time, and it was a pretty secret. It was a top secret program because they were putting balloons super high up with microphones on them to try to see if they could hear like bomb testings, allegedly, is what they said. But they were doing spy balloons at the time. They were like 100%.
Nice.
So
nice.
What I've noticed too when I was doing like this kind of research is there's a pattern of UFO kind of discussion coming up during times where there's like different aerial technology like being developed too. Which, I mean, I think is pretty obvious. That's fair if you don't want to tell anybody about a crazy new plane or something you got. Like, it's like play up the aliens or play up the... But again, even at this point yet, though, nobody knew what was up. They didn't think it was aliens yet. They said flying saucer. And they're like, sure, a flying saucer is a flying saucer. What's that? I don't fucking know,
You guys ever see that Scooby-Doo episode where they think there's a UFO, like, terrorizing what's probably like New Mexico or Arizona or something? And... it's just a fucking dude with a helicopter, and he has like a thing strapped to the bottom side of the helicopter to make it look like a UFO.
Oh my god,
that sounds like a classic. It's from the original series, or is
I'm
it from
pretty sure. Yeah, it's like
I'm pretty sure I've seen that one before.
Yeah,
I'll be down to watch that episode.
Yeah,
that
fuck
sounds
with
classic.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go get high and watch Scooby-Doo.
Old Scooby-Doo's the shit, dude. I love old Scooby-Doo. Like, this is
dope.
basically this is intro to UFO lore. Pretty much anything on this list could have a whole goddamn video made about it itself. So this is intro to UFOs. reacclimating into doing the ZUDECAST. So, dipping our toes in, getting beamed up.
Yeah, well, and like in the next few months, there's probably going to be more stuff that comes out about this with all these hearings and all these whistleblowers starting to come through. And they're not even really whistleblowers. They're kind of just disclosing stuff. They're like,
why now is the question.
That is the question, man, because... It's like, what are they trying to distract us from? Yeah, like Hunter Biden's cock or whatever. Like, they're trying to distract us from all sorts
I think
of
it's
shit.
even bigger than Hunter Biden's cock. I think it's definitely the global shifting of power. We talked about money. We talked about the fucking unicoin, and we talked about all that. So, but also with AI and the way how fast that's moving, they're like, might as well just roll out the fucking sick jets. Might as well roll out the flying cars. You sent me the video of the flying car the other day.
Yeah, but that is a far cry from flying saucer technology.
Well, I haven't seen the flying car.
There's a flying car now.
Yeah, it's essentially got like a mostly mesh chassis, and then there's a orb sort of that sits in the middle, which is the cockpit. It has the general form factor of like a modern car, but it can like rise up in the air and fly like sideways, or
Do you saw like an actual video of it, or is it like a concept?
Yeah, no, this is the first car to have FAA approval for human testing, and it's gonna hit the air.
So it drives like a car, but then you can take off.
Yeah, it just essentially has two giant main fans on either side of the cabin, and I'm sure it has some smaller like articulating fans to help it navigate. But
that's
pretty
nuts.
wild.
So wait,
bro.
it's not like jet propulsion. It's just like
it's just
like the real
drone
speeder
tech
on Tatooine.
Yeah.
The land
It's almost like a Florida hovercraft too. You know how it just like fucking pushes off the water lightweight, like along the water?
Yeah, that relies on creating a small buffer of air resistance underneath the craft, but this is just like drone level technology. It's basically a drone that you can fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby, weren't you saying something too about the it just so happened like right after the hearing or right around the same time they made some crazy breakthrough or announced that in the what's it called?
Talking about LK-99.
Oh, I don't know. What's that?
The superconductor.
Yeah, where it's like they're able to achieve
Nuclear fission.
What's it called? At like a normal temperature.
It's a superconductor that works ambient pressure at room temperature. So normally to get something to work at that capacity, it has to be super pressurized and super cold. Like most superconductors are, from what I remember, colder than space, basically just open empty space.
Because I remember that video from a few years ago where it was just a little like floating kind of circular, like this size kind of thing, and it was like a superconductor and it was super cold, like. And it would just be like levitating in air, but it was just like a really tiny version of that.
Yeah. So the reason this is like a huge deal is superconductors in general, right? One of the main byproducts and the reasons why they're so curious is that they can essentially push magnetic fields around them. Magnetic fields tend to penetrate like through objects, but this can essentially wrap itself in between magnetic fields and hold itself in position, so you can freely like move something and just have it levitate. Essentially, it looks like it's levitating.
Yeah, but, or I got this, or there was like this video from like a year or so ago. I can pull that up real quick.
So what they usually do is they'll dip the superconductor in liquid nitrogen or something, keep it cold, and then they'll have like a Mobius strip track or something.
It looks like the size of like a hockey puck. Here, I got it on the screen here.
Yep. So this exact sort of thing. So the breakthrough is so impressive because being able to do this at room temperature, like ambient pressure, is essentially how UFOs perform.
Yeah, this is crazy. This guy's building like a levitation track basically and freezes it.
Yeah, so this is our solution more or less to creating objects that can levitate in magnetic fields.
Right, because it's just magnetized against itself.
It's insane.
Right, but so the idea here is that, he has the Mobius strip, or it's not even a Mobius strip, but he has, this track of magnets laid out, and he requires that relationship for it to actually have a magnetic field to grab onto and to be fixed within. So to scale that up to the level of a UFO, one can only assume they're using the greater magnetic field of the Earth as a permanent magnet, more or less.
Dude, that's crazy.
But
that's icy.
Our technology is not really there yet.
Not there.
And again, I don't really know if that solves the problem of inertia, but
because it seems like, or maybe it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this type of shit would work differently or better on other planets where it's way colder, or there's a different kind of atmosphere breakup, but making that kind of technology work properly on an Earth-like environment is probably a whole other feat. Oh, dude.
So my suspicion is that UFO technology does not necessarily rely on superconductors like this.
Right.
I mean, it's cool, and this may be how we can get something similar, but I don't know. The problem of how it breaks inertia is, once again, like it was like Fravor was saying at the hearing, it's like the material science is way, way, way beyond us.
Right. Well, and it's like maybe it was just out of our own ego and pride that we didn't want to tell people about the alien stuff that we recovered because we never figured out how it works. Like back in World War II, they probably found it, and they probably found this alien technology, and then we're like, oh shit, let's reverse engineer it like we would just with like a different country's aircraft or whatever. Be like, oh, that's cool. Their engine's like this. They do this. But they just couldn't figure it out. And they're like, well, we won't tell them until we figure it out. And they just never could. And maybe we'll, like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe
with our understanding, maybe we never will. Or maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's shockingly simple. And I find that the answer to most things tends to be the one that is created out of necessity, especially when it comes to the universe. Like, the laws of the universe only exist out of a need to facilitate something, right? So, like, eventually we'll just figure out the simple unified law or, like, principles of the universe that finally unites quantum mechanics and general relativity together. And I mean, then we'll understand, but until then, probably not. So
because I mean, I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to actual math and science, but it's
me either.
Sort of like the jump from Newtonian to Einsteinian physics or whatever. Like, we might have to have another one of those jumps where we're like, okay, actually we didn't really fully understand it. Yeah. And then we have to, kind of just reevaluate everything that we know and like start over basically.
Yeah. I don't know. I think part of the problem has been is that just human thinking is limited, and a lot of ideas are created not necessarily out of a need to like solve the problem, but out of a need to have an answer. You know what I mean? So a lot of our scientific theories, just like the entire hypothesis to begin with, is skewed, or like the principle of which is not necessarily in the right avenue of thinking. Right. This is my opinion, but
because I mean, all of this stuff that we, the space race and the race to atomic energy and weapons, it's all just kind of based on like, well, we got to figure out this shit before the Chinese figure this out, or before the Germans figure that out, or before Russia figures this out, and then they're going to kick our ass with, that's kind of like the main motivating factor. And then every alien movie is like, we have to figure this out. We have to figure out how to beat the aliens because they have the best technology. It's just really just a metaphor for, World War II really is like what most of these alien invasion kind of movies are. And I mean, but it's like, we don't even know that aliens are trying to fight us at all. Like, they might just be like, what's up?
But they know that we are potentially trying to fight them, or we're at least suspicious and conscious. So why would they help us?
Right. Or they're just like checking in on us, maybe just to be like, oh god, these guys figured out nukes. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is basically. So, why would we be a trustworthy species?
We wouldn't.
We can't even get along. We're like
right.
We're one race, but we can't.
You see it in every superhero movie. Like, all right, what was it in like Superman or whatever? Like, I forget which Superman movie it was, but the U.S. government tries to essentially capture him, and it's just like, well, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
like you're lucky he comes here in peace. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. So I wouldn't give us a fucking inch to be honest.
Okay, we still got a bunch of shit to get through here. Let's see. So yeah, there was a bunch of more stuff in the 40s that kind of is on a similar kick. This is very similar to the MK Ultra thing, where it's just a lot of secret government projects or whatever. So you got Project Sign, established in 1948 by Air Force General Nathan Farragut Twining, and it was initially named Project Saucer. I wonder, that's probably an acronym for something. Sexy aliens undulating
sensations endlessly on repeat.
Yes, thank you.
I'm pretty sure Twinning was one of the members of the 12 as well. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The goal of the project was to collect, evaluate, and distribute within the government all information relating to UFO sightings on the premise that they might represent a national security concern. Then in 1949, the U.S. Air Force publicly released a paper prepared by the Intelligence Division of the Air Materiel Command. The paper stated that while some UFOs appeared to represent actual aircraft, there was not enough data to determine their origin. Almost all cases were explained by ordinary causes, but the report recommended a continuation of the investigating of all sightings.
Project Signs. You telling me Mel Gibson was involved with this?
I think so. I think that's a big part of it there. But yeah, so Project Sign, that's a pretty big deal. You know, I mean, there was a legitimate like government investigation into what was going on here, and it's kind of just like the MK Ultra stuff again, where it's like back then they're like, we don't know, let's check it out, like might as well. And you know, you don't know how dangerous it can be. You know, again, they were doing the MK Ultra stuff because it's like, okay, our enemy might be able to do MK Ultra stuff, and so they're trying to figure out what's going on here too.
Right. And so this project got shut down, and it's kind of regarded as, it says, you know, more mythological than real. But it says that Project Sign was followed by Project Grudge after a conclusion that,
which is right next to it,
right, that UFO reports could be exploited by a foreign power to induce panic in the population and were therefore a military issue in post-World War II Cold War climate. So yeah, this led Project Grudge to publicly disparage all UFO reports as a result of misidentifications of various conventional objects or mild form of mass hysteria and warners or individuals who fabricate such reports to perpetuate a hoax or to seek publicity. So that seems like where it came from, where they're just starting to shut down all talk of it, which I mean, in a sense, it makes sense, because and that's kind of why we're so hesitant to even think any of this new stuff is real, because it's like, all right, what are they up to? What's the government up to now that they're like, things are so bad that they're like, UFOs, I don't know if aliens are real, let's go, like, just like, don't focus on the price of eggs, it's UFO time.
Yeah.
Maybe the UFOs will start dropping some eggs from the sky. Okay, which I had a thought earlier. I was like, what if we meet an alien race and it's like the fish people or something, and they're like giving us a tour of their facility and all that, and they're like, yes, and this is where we birth the young ones. Would you or would you not look at that shit and potentially be like, that looks delicious?
What, aliens, like just like caviar?
Yeah, right, bro.
But like giant caviar?
You just can't stop yourself.
Aliens being delicious in more ways than one is something I'm very concerned about for humanity and
That's
for
true.
myself. Because
well, then what if they think we're delicious?
It goes both ways,
That's why
we're a little crunchier potentially.
Yeah,
but
maybe. I don't know, man. Like, who
I
knows?
believe
They got Are we talking about a boneless species, bro?
Talking about Jello critters, bro. Jello
fish
cretins,
blobs.
It's tough.
Well, I mean, it's different unless we're like pulling the embryos straight out of people. You know what I mean? They at least have the decency to push them out of themselves first, and then they go about the rest of their lives.
Right.
Right.
So Project Grudge was intended to alleviate public anxiety over UFOs and persuade the public that UFOs constituted nothing unusual or extraordinary. Right. And UFO sightings were explained as balloons, conventional aircraft, planets, meteors, optical illusions, solar reflections, or even large hailstones. Project officials recommended the project be reduced in scope because the very existence of Air Force official interest encouraged people to believe in UFOs and contributed to a war hysteria atmosphere. It's like, well, maybe if y'all didn't have a big ass war, there wouldn't be so much fucking war hysteria. Ever think about that?
But they wanted to.
Yeah.
But you wanted to.
Project Grudge issued its only formal report in August 1949. The report's conclusions included: A, there's no evidence that objects reported upon are the result of an advanced scientific foreign development, and therefore they constitute no direct threat to the national security. In view of this, it is recommended that the investigation and study of reports of unidentified flying objects be reduced in scope. See, it's like, well, does it affect our bomb making abilities? No, and then I don't give a fuck. Like that's kind of just the approach that the military and our government has taken with it, where it's like
that's one of those things where they say one thing and then do exactly the opposite, and this is how we've gotten to where we are. Where they're like, oh, it's not a national security threat. Let's just overclassify every single piece of information related to it.
Right.
And
that's really
the public will never see it.
That's really the problem here is the lack of transparency. You know, your imagination runs way harder when you don't know what's going on, and that's what's fueled this. You know, to become such a cultural phenomena. You know that it is. You know.
Well, I think the frustrating thing too is that we just don't know like that much. Yeah. It's hard to know. Like, how could we know? It's not like you can just go to the aliens and study the aliens like you can go and study the depths of the ocean or fish and different species. Like,
which we still haven't even done that much.
It's hard to get actionable data about any of it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
but what do I know?
Okay, so that leads us to Project Blue Book. So the code name for this systematic study of UFOs by the Air Force from March 1952 to its termination on December 17th, 1969. The project, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Project Blue Book had two goals, namely to determine if UFOs were a threat to national security and to scientifically analyze UFO-related data. Thousands of UFO reports were collected, analyzed, and filed as a result of the Condon Report, which concluded that the study of UFOs was unlikely to yield major scientific discoveries, and a review of the report by the National Academy of Sciences. Project Blue Book was terminated in 1969. The Air Force supplies the following summary of its investigations. 1. No UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the Air Force was ever an indication of a threat to our national security. And 2. There was no evidence submitted to or discovered by the Air Force that sightings categorized as unidentified represented technological developments or principles beyond the range of modern scientific knowledge. And 3, there is no evidence indicating that sightings categorized as unidentified were extraterrestrial vehicles. And so by the time that Blue Book ended, they collected 12,618 UFO reports, concluded that most of them were misidentification of natural phenomena. 12,000, dude.
That's a lot.
Or conventional aircraft. Okay, we're stupid. I mean, dude, we've seen fucking UFOs. Just on a average night of stargazing, you'd be like, oh, what was that? That was weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe we're dumb. Maybe it was a weather event. Maybe it was just a meteor.
Well, there's a combination of both. I feel like, you know, there's probably a lot of sightings that are super anomalous, and there's a lot of stuff where it's like crazy shooting star that exploded type shit, and it's just like, okay, that's that. But most of the stuff where it's like the bizarre movement, that's the real kicker, you know. It's like everybody sees like really weird lights and shit happen too, but it's like, yeah, when there's some erratic wild movement that just doesn't make sense, like that's when you know you're seeing some shit.
You know when you see it.
Yeah.
You know
Definitely.
And it says that the UFO reports were archived and available under the Freedom of Information Act, but the names and other personal information has been redacted.
Yeah, man. So that's crazy. And so all of that was before Sputnik, because again, Sputnik was the first time it came. We had an actual satellite even happen, you know, go up. So that's kind of crazy. Back in the day, you couldn't be like, it's a satellite. You know what I mean? You couldn't, like back in the day, there, you know, because there wasn't satellites like that. Like they didn't have, you know, they used radio towers still.
Right, because this was like kind of a big gap in time. So Sputnik was, this was first
57.
In 57, 58. So yeah, it was the first artificial Earth satellite launched into the elliptical low Earth orbit by the Soviet Union in 1957 as part of the Soviet space program. It sent a radio signal back to Earth for 3 weeks before its 3 silver zinc batteries ran out. So this is just an unmanned satellite, you know. Sputnik!
Yeah, no, this thing made people freak out though too. You know, I could totally get why the government's trying to be like, shut up about UFOs when USSR has a satellite already and we don't yet.
Right.
You know, they're probably
because this was like 10, 15 years after that. And I guess, I don't know, I guess it was like the early 50s, late 40s that they started getting. Oh, yeah, 1949, Project Grudge, so.
Yeah, but Blue Book went on for another
1952, right.
52.
Right,
so
right.
again, you see even here though, they're like, they already said like there's no UFOs, but they're still double checking like 4 years after to conclude.
Well,
yeah.
dude, and maybe this kind of ties into the whole moon landing conspiracy too, in a way where it's like, what did all this NASA funding go to if we never actually did make it to the moon, and it was just like, you know, maybe it was like a facade that they were just dumping all this money into looking into all this other alien shit that they just didn't want to tell us about, but they were just telling us that it was going towards NASA stuff or whatever while they were just filming shit in a soundstage.
The idea is that when Nikola Tesla died and the United States government seized all of his assets, which was in the early 20s, that's where the secret space program started, and they started really doing all this shit because, you know, he was one of the foremost in the entire world who understood, you know, the power of electromagnetism and rotating magnetic fields. So
right, because they basically just stole all of his writings and discoveries or whatever, and just like, we'll take that.
Yeah, but I think that's a little far fetched as far as things really are concerned. But
yeah, but we're getting, we like to go there.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And
so
then we got
keeping it real. We're not gonna get through this whole board here. I don't think we're already at an hour and a half here too. But it was interesting. This one's Carl Jung had some theories about it too, which is a real interesting one. Carl Jung is amazing, actually. So that's kind of the one people. He was like one of the first people to really put it out there. It's like this could be just like a collective consciousness kind of phenomena going on here.
Right. Yeah, and we had to just like some other like sightings or whatever.
Well, no,
like
this one too, and then these
Betty and Barney Hill here.
They were the first people who said they got abducted by aliens. They were the first people to ever report that they got a.
Look at that dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
But
look at him. You know he's lying. You know he's lying.
His name is Barney, bro. What's Barney even short for, dude?
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. This poor,
I know, right?
This poor interracial couple got harassed by aliens, bro.
And no one believed them.
Hey, man, love to see it. You know, back in those days, I know it was hard. So.
It was different, bro. Even the aliens were fucking with them, bro. Like, come on, that's tough.
They're like, we believe in love and aliens. They probed us, actually. Is that what happened? Did they get probed?
I don't know. Here, let's read this one, and then you guys want to maybe save the rest for another video, even, or
you just kind of slam through this, or just kind of whatever you want to do. There's a whole bunch more stuff that we got to get into. Maybe we should do a part 2, dude, because we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Part 2 seems very fruitful.
Yeah, I know. Like, we don't want to spoil the whole bag for you, on part 1 of UFOs. Like, we got more, We're just getting back into it. I know this is a lot of articles and stuff, but I think we should come back to this soon and talk more about the recent stuff too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be explored. I think the implications of where we're going in the future are a lot more explosive than a lot of the history, to be honest. But it's good to have the context and know what the history is. So
right.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating that there probably has to be another Joe Rogan episode in a very near future that will have what's his face on it.
Grush or something.
Well, yeah, him or
Grush would be sick on actually to get him to talk for a minute.
Because Duncan Trussell had on the other UFO guy, Jeremy Corbell. Because Jeremy Corbell is, from what I understand, he's kind of convincing these intelligence officers and high-ranking people that have come to him in private telling him about all this UFO stuff. He's like, dude, get it out there, get it under oath, get it in an actual hearing or whatever. And I don't know, man, maybe it's a distraction, maybe they're trying to cover up some other shit, but I think two things can exist at the same time. It's like, yeah, there is a whole lot of other corruption and crazy stuff that we should be focusing on too, and not just aliens, but it's like, it's not something that you want to just ignore. Like, wouldn't that be crazy if we all find out that aliens are real, and then we're just like, whatever, man. And, it's like the meme where the alien pulls up.
Yeah,
and
he's like, I got a lot going on.
He's like, are you not shocked right now? And the guy's just like, yeah, I don't know. I got a lot going on.
At this point, I still don't think we'll see aliens in our lifetime, to be honest. Maybe they'll declassify some shit, but it's like, what, the one rumored alien that they had fucking died like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what's gonna happen? That suddenly we're gonna get accepted into the Galactic Federation or something? I'm like, I doubt it. But.
Yeah,
dude, we wish we could get accepted in the Galactic Federation. We don't. We would not make the cut at all.
Fuck no.
I think
Unfortunately.
the technology disclosure is the most important thing. Like, it doesn't really matter if it's aliens. And again, like the way he phrased it, where he's like non-human biologics, I was like, that's very intentionally vague.
So he doesn't get prosecuted.
Yeah, probably. But also, like, I just think, like, what is going on there scientifically is what's more important, because then you can, I mean, again, just how fast technology is evolving. We even said with planes, it's like, look how fast from the time planes were invented to the time, like we were flying around seeing UFOs and shit up in the sky too. Cause it's like, hey, there's something else up there too flying around. Like, the technology disclosure is like the most important to me. I don't really care about aliens per se. I don't think aliens from like another planet are like scheming. Like, there's not like gonna be like an invasion or nothing. Like, I don't see anything like that, but I don't know. Like I said, just the disclosure on the technology is important.
Unless our planet's got some resources that the aliens want, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
man, our planets ran through, bro.
That's true. Come
on, man.
Well, at least on the surface, bro. Maybe the underground still got some shit they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's tons of other. I mean, pretty much like any other planet's just way more like raw. If you want like raw, material, like raw gas and raw iron or raw ore or whatever, it's like there's plenty of other places to go.
True.
To Earth. Earth's all fucked. Like,
yeah, dude. Well, maybe we should do like every like month or two, just do a UFO checkup. You know what I'm saying? Like, be like, all right, what's good with the fucking?
Yeah, it comes up. It comes up pretty frequently. So we've talked about a good amount of different things. I
think when there's relevant news, and I'm sure it'll happen more frequently.
Right.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Especially with the congressional hearings. So.
Yeah, so stay tuned for a part 2 where we're gonna go even deeper on this stuff. Like we said, we can go deeper on any of these topics. This is just sort of like a brushing through the overall
refresher, a little context, a little lore for you, a little UFO lore, Yeah. Do we have any chats or anything like that?
We do have a few chats.
Oh, let's see. Hey, let's get. We got Michael Hodge. Interesting how computers went around to the 40s and 50s. Technology has advanced so fast since then. Crash site recovery helped, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, Michaela Hodge. Okay. Tadpole. We identify as Apache attack helicopters.
Always.
Well, yeah, man, and I think the
definitely the fixed point in time. I agree with you.
Oh yeah. Harambe is fixed point in time.
Yeah, Harambe had to happen for us to be here right now. For ZUDECAST to happen. Harambe had to happen.
That's for sure. Actually,
it's a keystone moment, right there.
But I mean, you could say maybe we're not gonna run into super advanced technology in our lifetime, but man, I don't know. With all the AI shit, and with maybe if there is some major discovery and just some breakthrough type of technology, you never know what we could be looking at in the next like 50 to 100 years. I mean, who knows? By the time we're like old motherfuckers. Who knows, dude? Maybe Greenland will actually be green from all the global warming. We'll all live there.
Yeah, man. I think things will end up more like Dune and the Dune books, where it's just people. They're just people, but they're so like different from each other, from living like in space or like living on a different place. And I don't know, if we do start going to like Mars or something, say and get like a Mars colony going, those people will be weird. You already know.
Parallel evolution, right? That's like millions of years from now. I mean, that could be it, dude. Like different alien species could just, and maybe we're one of them. Like maybe they're like our planet was sort of, that's kind of what people say sometimes. Like it was
like the ancient astronaut,
ancient astronaut, or like a interplanetary seeding, whatever you want to call it.
They think like too, like there's like a whole thing where they think like early humans were like like a colony offshoot from Mars, because Mars used to be way more habitable back like millions and millions of years ago and shit. Or
because we could be like Goku, where it's like like some alien's gonna come from another planet at some point and just be like Kakarot or whatever. Like, you were supposed to destroy this whole place. What the fuck y'all doing? It's like, I don't know. We can only do so many nukes, Like, we're getting on it, but we never know. There could be who knows?
When you get stationed on Earth thinking it's going to be dope, but you realize it's a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Nobody comes to check on you for like 15,000 years.
That's crazy.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, maybe
get a little bored, you know?
Dude, maybe that is what it is. Just different humans. Like maybe we all came from one planet somewhere else and then got like seeded into different places, like different test zones or something, you know?
Stargate.
Turned out different ways. Is that what Stargate is?
That's the whole plot of Stargate, yeah.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah.
I never even watched
That's why
Stargate.
I fucking love that show, bro.
That's cool. Yeah. So there's like, we're just like, like we consider ourselves normal Earth humans, but then there's all sorts of weird other species of humans that have evolved differently for millions of years on different planets.
The plot of the actual movie Stargate, they find the original slave planet where humans are seeded from.
Dang.
So, it's good stuff. It's a good movie. If you guys don't know, check it out.
I know. I got to watch that show.
All right. UFO movie recommendations and shit, though. You got any for the crowd, bro? Y'all got sci-fi shit. Not just UFOs, but, aliens, trippy, existential shit.
Shoot. Definitely Stargate. As far as like goofy movies go, I don't know. Independence Day is it's like it is what it is.
I don't Destroy All Humans, the game.
Right. I'm not a huge fan of like UFO horror, UFO movies in general. There's an interesting one I saw, which I don't know the name of, where a UFO essentially has a bunch of people time locked in a village. They just have like a cult there, but man, just a bunch of like little tiny bubbles, pockets of land that are stuck in like time loops.
That sounds sick, though.
It's kind of interesting, yeah.
That sounds familiar. I forget
It
what
reminds me of that movie, The Endless, too. I was telling you about that movie. It's kind of similar.
Wait, did you guys watch that movie Annihilation with me?
Yeah, Annihilation. Yeah. I've seen that movie. That movie's pretty good.
Not really UFOs, but kind of
on the alien
on the
vibe.
Similar vibe.
Arrival's really good about aliens like revealing themselves, where they they're like trying to get linguists, like language people, to understand the alien language so they can communicate.
That's kind of like really Harambe too.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
The sign language or whatever, Coco.
Yeah,
bro. Okay, just a quick deviation, but one day we're gonna be the aliens, right? So we've officially taught monkeys how to play Minecraft. This is real life, dude. Go look it up on YouTube.
That's crazy.
So we're over here learning how to play our Minecraft on our fucking planet Earth, and these aliens are out here just like, how adorable.
Damn. And then we send the monkeys out to space. They're like, all right, remember your training.
I know, they're like, do Minecraft in real life.
We send them out with diamond pickaxes.
Look, the monkeys are training the other monkeys to go to space and die. How cute.
Dude.
Planet of the Apes.
Indeed.
I know.
Other UFO movies.
I was gonna say I did like how Nope handled just kind of like the general lore of it, the general kind of like how the people who are hunting for this stuff go about it too. Like they try to set up the cameras and have the devices and backup, and they prepare for like energy blackouts and all this weird shit to, and then I liked, again, like I was talking about, how they kind of looked into some astrobiology ideas that are going on and made it a weird alien based on some sort of scientific ideas that are out there right now. So I thought that was very well done.
Indeed.
But yeah. All right. How we feeling, boys?
Feeling good, dude. Feeling sweaty.
Feeling sweaty. Yeah, I'm a little damp.
Hey man, we're getting back into it though, and we're gonna be more consistent with the eps. We had to take a little hiatus, but we're back on the grind, boys.
Absolutely.
Flyatus.
Sweet. So we'll catch y'all next week.
All right, later, y'all. Ho.
Take it easy.
Peace out, y'all. Peace.